How's it going, Wolfpack? This is your LVG Wolf here. Call of Duty Zombies. Zombies is a mode I hold dearly. I've been playing it since like 2012 to 2013, starting with some casual Black Ops 1 zombies with my older sister. That eventually transitioned into me following the Black Ops 2 zombie season, and considering myself to be a pretty huge zombies fan. Then again, I also missed out on a lot, or got to play it all late, so yeah. This is actually a before list, because I plan on making this and then going out and trying to experience everything to the fullest. Then going again with an after list. So no, I haven't experienced every map to the fullest yet. Please forgive me. So before we start this list, I'm not going to include any of the maps that I've not played at all or have only played like one round of. Ascension, Call of the Dead, Shangri-La, Moon, Zetsubo, Gorod Krovi, Revelations, Theranfang, and Terra Maledicta are all excluded from the list. Also keep in mind, a reason for some maps being lower than others might just be because I haven't played the map enough to get a good understanding of how it works. Roast me all you want, I'm the kind of person who prefers multiplayer zombies action, and it's difficult to come by with me for most games. So with all the explaining finally out of the way, my garbage pre-experience opinions. Number 26. Die Rise. This was the first DLC map pack map I ever got to experience. At the time I liked it. It was the 4th or 5th zombies map I had ever played, but it was very hard. Eventually I realized it wasn't hard, it was just poorly designed bullshit. Certainly not the best way to start the DLC season. I enjoyed it a bit myself, but overall still found myself liking Transit better at the time. A lot better. Now I look back and find this map overwhelming and annoying. If you don't know what you're doing with the elevators, it's really easy to get trapped in a room. The design is a confusing mess, which I'm pretty sure was what they were going for, but I'm still gonna complain about it. I will say, though, the Wonder Weapon is pretty sick. Or should I say, slick. But yeah, suffice to say, not much fondness looking back on Die Rise. It's literally a meme in my friend group, the few times that we play Black Ops 2 Zombies, to go and play a game of Die Rise because of how shit it is. Oh, and I'm gonna sometimes end these segments by saying if I've completed the Easter egg or not. No, I haven't. Number 25. Mob of the Dead. Coked up child, Blood of the Dead. I mean, I had a fun time the first few times I played it, but anytime I play now, it's just tedious and stressful with not much of a reason why. The cinematography of the map is awesome, and there are some amazing mid-game cutscenes. But you might be thinking, this is a zombies map, not a movie. Why do you think I put it so low? As a cinematic experience, it is amazing. The map itself looks amazing, but it is essentially a hot pile of doo-doo under the hood of that. A sequel is meant to add on to the original in a meaningful way. Storyline-wise, I think it does a fantastic job at that. Map-wise, no, it's bad. The new areas you only ever need to go back to for the Easter egg or to forge the magma gap. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, there's no reason to go back there except for the perk machine, I guess. That dull thing. While I'd say the Warden's House is a good addition onto Mob of the Dead's map, the remainder of additions, I can't say the same for. Not to mention, you took out the Golden Gate Bridge. I have attempted the Easter egg here. I couldn't beat it, but I did actively watch the hunt for it. I was pretty live into the Black Ops 4 stuff. But seriously, Morse code, 80% of the Easter egg you need your shield? Number 24. Hey, this map is like really popular for multiplayer. Let's put it in zombies. Well, we gotta add something. Ooh, how about random perk drops and an Easter egg where the only step is to reach round 25? Yeah, that's about how I envisioned the pitch for Nuketown Zombies went. Number 23. You ever play a game that you think is just okay, but everyone else showers it in monumental bounds of praise and glory? Even though you don't really think it deserves it, which ultimately sours your opinion of just okay to I don't really like this. Yeah, that's me. And the map I'm referencing is Kino der Toten. Kino is an okay map. A good map, even. I have nothing against the map, but any potential mild enjoyment I have of the map was ruined by an overrated opinion. And I'm not saying that's the internet's fault. No, no, no. It is mine for allowing me to base my personal enjoyment of something off of other people's opinions. But here I am. Opinions aside, Kino is just okay. It works as a launch map because of its simple design and its semi-interesting mechanics. But that's all Kino is to me. Just okay. If I hadn't allowed other people's opinions to shower my shitty one, it would probably be around the 13 to 18 range on the list. But again, this is a list of personal preference, not map quality necessarily. This was the first ever Zombies map I played, like most people in the Zombies community nowadays. But I just don't look back on it as fondly as everyone else does. Number 22. Alpha Omega. It's Nuketown Zombies, but with new story beats. More interesting top layer, pretty cool bunker area. Alpha Omega's okay. It works more like a Zombies map than original Nuketown Zombies does, which, believe it or not, is saying a lot, but it's a remastered map. Like half of Black Ops 4 had, which hurts it a lot. If Nuketown Zombies didn't exist, this map would probably be higher up, because it would at the very least be a little more original than the other remakes, or if it wasn't released alongside a bunch of remakes. Also, I've been playing since Black Ops 2. You're about to hear how much of a casual I really, truly was, even though I didn't think I was for the longest time. Alpha Omega was the first Zombies Easter egg I ever completed. Number 21. Die Maschine. Die Maschine is certainly a map. I'll be honest, I simply just don't like the map and its design. My explanation is about to get really weird, but basically, I prefer the map designs of stuff like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. I prefer those types of maps overall, but I had a lot more fun with Cold War recently. Fuck the operators though, like seriously, please don't bring that back. Give us interesting characters. I'll talk more about what sort of ideas I had when we get to Forsaken. Die Maschine was still probably the worst part of Cold War. I've heard many people say Die Maschine was the best map in Cold War, and the maps gradually got worse, but not counting Forsaken, I personally think the opposite. I think the maps consistently get better and better, even if I overall don't like them all that much. Hell, there's only one I can say I outright really like as a map. Though, me and a group of friends did beat the Easter egg, as happened with every main Cold War map, not including Outbreak. Number 20. Forsaken. Gee, that didn't really take long. This map, I believe, is still better than Die Maschine, but it isn't really by much. They're basically just side by side. It was a very close decision, and I went with Forsaken literally just because of a few personal preferences. I enjoy how crazy powerful the Wonder Weapon is. It's a lot of fun to use that on this map. It's crazy fun. I also had a lot funner of a time on this map than I did Die Maschine. I don't think it's structured as well, but this list is more of personal preference, like I said earlier. Additionally, I love the aesthetic of some parts of the map more than I do Die Maschine. I'm always more so a fan of nighttime colors than daytime in most circumstances, and while a good daytime map can shake things up enough to stand out, Die Maschine doesn't, hence why I believe Forsaken is better. If it weren't for any of those circumstances, Forsaken would be below Die Maschine, or at the very best tied. It lucked out by fitting to some of my personal preferences, but even then, it really doesn't cater to much. Both maps still feel a bit too bland for my taste. Another thing about Cold War is it feels more like a temporary change rather than a permanent one, and I kinda hope it stays that way. I mean, it was fun for the game's season, but I'd rather have most of the things involved not return, aside from continuing the main story. And back to what I said in Die Maschine, I only had this thought recently, but as you all know, most games before Cold War focus on a main group of 4 characters fighting through the hordes, and I'd like the next game to return to that format. And I even have an idea of who one of the characters could be, because the way a certain character's story worked out through, and ended plays out amazingly well for them to be a potential fan favorite playable character. And I think that's Peck. I think his story played great for setting him up to be a potential playable character in the future. Though that's personal opinion of mine. I just really want to play Peck. Peck really turned around. I really like Peck. He's cool. I have beaten the Easter egg with a group of friends. The group I ran is usually a mixture of 2 heavily experienced with me and another friend, and then 2 less experienced with someone who isn't the best at zombies and someone who hasn't played it in a while. And it provided a very great balance with a real struggle at the end. It was probably the funnest and most challenging way to beat the Easter egg. Highly recommend it. Number 19. This one is often considered the best map of all time. While I have played it a bit, I want to preface by saying I haven't played it far enough to give it that distinction just yet. I want to preface this super low entry by reiterating, I plan on getting more personally acquainted with every map, and with the expectations set, I feel this map will skyrocket up the list. They're Eisendrach. There really isn't much I can say. I have experience with this map, but clearly not enough, and this really isn't a fair placement at all. Realistically, I don't think I played it enough to put it on the list, but I would have put it up here for content's sake. You know what I mean. You gotta make things a little interesting. Like, I haven't even made a bow yet. Yeah. This really shouldn't be here. This is more of a generalized placement of how I feel about it right now. It's another reason why I also plan on making an updated list once I've experienced everything there is to experience, because I want to have my current opinions for a frame of reference to look back on. And it's always good to have a sequel. Always. Number 18. Voyage of Despair. 2 words. Missed opportunity. Voyage of Despair was one of the 2 mainly hyped up Black Ops 4 launch maps, including Blood of the Dead, and isn't it funny that those 2 hyped up maps are the 2 lowest of the BO4 launch maps on my list? Voyage looks beautiful. I really enjoyed Voyage's Gauntlet. I'm done. You can move on to the next thing now. Number 17. Shino Numa. The Swamp. I do not like the swamp. Aside from that, this is a decent map that I could see potentially having some fun with friends on. I actually really like how each HUD is given a random perk rather than one stagnant one, and this style of randomized perk drop works far better than Nuketown Zombies. See, because with Nuketown Zombies, the perk drops roughly every 5 rounds, unless you get denied it. But here in Shino Numa, it's tied to your points and how you choose to progress. You can open up and reveal perk spots by round 5, or wait till round 30 if you really want to, or even longer. The perk progression is not up to a random number generator, it's up to you, and I always like when power is given to the player rather than the game, even if I really like randomizing things. Number 16. Firebase. I mean, it's okay. I prefer it to Doom Machine and Forsaken, and it is by a good deal more, but I still don't really consider it a zombies map that I personally enjoy. While the wide open areas make it pretty easy to train and those assault waves add some spice to zombies, I still find this a meh experience overall. The Wonder Weapon is cool, but it doesn't quite have the flair of weapons like the Chrysalax or the Paralyzer. I have beaten this Easter egg, and it was okay. The Mimic Step was the worst part, which I think the entire community shares the sentiment of, so I'm not the only one. Thanks that. Number 15. Knocked There on Totem. This is a zombies classic. The first glimpse of zombies. Of course, I didn't get to play it for a while. My first time playing it, I'm pretty sure, was on Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles. But I did get to go back and play it the way it was originally intended in World at War, and it was a pretty fun challenge. The early rounds are slow, but it can get chaotic really quick, especially thanks to no perks and the small size of the map. Number 14, Shadows of Evil. Hey, since I know I'm a casual now, trying to extend to not being casual, I could use the casual reason for why this map is lower on this list. Big map, too confusing, maze-like layout, hard. Okay, realistically, there's a lot about this map I enjoy. The aesthetic and look of map, how it plays and feels, I enjoy. But I am a small brain. This map is confusing for me still, probably because I still need to really get used to it and its layout. This is a map like the Eisendrach, where I feel like with more experience on the map, I will enjoy it far better. Easily the best music in Zombies, with only Blood of the Dead's Where Are We going close to how damn good it is. Number 13. This is where I have to explain something that doesn't really have the normal Zombies formula, but is still a part of Zombies, and that's Outbreak. I will say it right now, Outbreak is fun. I do not prefer the mode to a classic round-based experience, but as a side thing, it works perfectly. Gee, I wonder why no one likes the Vanguard Zombies mode. Outbreak works best as an option, not as the only selection. Playing Outbreak with a group of friends is fun, and on the off chance I feel like grinding, Outbreak keeps things interesting and flowing well during a grind session. Of course, I don't really like grinding, but if I can sit back and have a fun time with friends, I will. That being said, most of our sessions of Outbreak end after 1 to 2 hours, which I think is kind of the average. And it's not even because of death, it's just because we get bored. I personally still only see Outbreak as a way to level up faster with friends and have some fun doing it. But if I have no reason to level up, I could care less about it. Hence why before this video, I haven't played it in a bit. This is the only Cold War Zombies content where I have not beaten the Easter eggs. Number 12. Tag der Toten, the finale for Black Ops 4 Zombies, and what a finale it was. Certainly a controversial one, and if it wasn't for the whole Cold War thing disallowing a Black Ops Pass 2, probably would have been a far better set of maps with a far more fulfilling finale and journey. I think Chaos did better in Black Ops 4. I think Chaos' story was better than Aether's at every single turn. But both were overall hurt by being split up over a single 4-map DLC season. Aether's was Shino's shallow, and while it had an emotional ending, some people didn't like it and didn't find it all that fulfilling. Which, if anything, shows just how true-to-life Call of Duty really is. Chaos, while a new story that not many were used to, I feel produced easily the best bangers on Black Ops 4's disc hands down. I'm here to talk about Tag der Toten though. It's hard not to talk about Tag and not talk about the ending and overall stories that were hurt by Cold War's existence. Tag was a rehash of Call of the Dead, which was seen as a fan favorite, and it was certainly the best of the remakes Black Ops 4 season. I don't count Classified though, because let's face it, Classified is a direct port with some very small extra areas, different characters, and some bits removed. Tag der Toten is probably the best looking Zombies map of all time. Visually, it's the most appealing. It's the best designed of the Black Ops 4 remakes. That might be because Call of the Dead is one of the best designed maps of all time, but I mean, who's really counting? Unlike most people, I love the return of Victus. This might be considered another trash opinion, but I fucking adore the Victus crew. All of them are great, and I hope they make some sort of return in the Dark Aether storyline, since that is what they were sucked into at the end of Tag. It actually makes some sense to see them. Tag's a lot of fun. I didn't complete the Easter egg myself, but I was actively watching the hunt, which, by the way, I want to try and actually get involved in the hunts in the future. It's really cool. Number 11. Dead of the Night. In Black Ops 2, once Mob came out, Celebrate cast maps were pretty much just known as Of the Dead maps in title. Then Shadows happened, and now all Celebrity cast maps are just Of maps by that regard, and I kind of find that pretty funny. Dead of the Night had an amazing cast, some great, albeit annoying bosses, and a top-tier layout overall. One of the more creative COD Zombies boss fights I've ever seen. There's so much to love about this map. It also probably has the worst intro cutscene, at the very least of the Chaos story. In my opinion of COD Zombies in general, non-Treyarch included. It's so janky and awkward, and literally none of the main characters speak. to like 5 minutes in, and I mean, just look at this. Just look at this. I still have nightmares about it. And deja vu because it accurately portrayed me at any party ever. Number 10, Darius the Giant. I mean, they're the same map, but one has Gobblegum, no reason to really separate them. Darius is a classic. The Giant is a retelling of a classic. There really isn't a whole lot that could be said. The Pack-a-Punch was introduced here, alongside the teleporters, both great features that have returned in some way, shape, or form in each game. Not necessarily each map, but definitely each game. It tackles an atmosphere that is commonplace in zombies nowadays, and it's fun to see just how well it tackles that specific atmosphere on its first try. If you haven't played it at least once, you have to. Legally. No, you're legally required to. Now, I will take you to jail if you don't. Number 9, Ancient Evil. This is the map and hunt that got me so fucking interested that I actively bought a PlayStation 4 Slim to try and be in part of the hunt at the time. I mainly played on Xbox before, so Black Ops 4 at the time was all about waiting a month. And let me just tell you, playing Ancient Evil alone with no friends at the time, it's kind of fun. I never got too far myself because I was glued to this hunt more than any hunt before it. Between college courses, I'd hop on to check out the live streams. When I woke up, I'd scroll through Twitter to see what new developments had come out while I was asleep. I was the most invested with this hunt than any other that came before or after it. Chaos, I've said this a lot already, but Chaos was the highlight of Black Ops 4. And I think my undying hype for this map, what at the time was originally just thought to be the last Chaos story map of that game alone, and not permanently, this just brings on good memories. Also, this map is technically the reason I got to play Persona 5, because, you know, you need a PlayStation for that. So, yeah, lot to love this map for. Number 8, Barucht. Honestly, I don't know why I think of this map so damn highly. I feel like I should lower it, but anytime I look back, I'm like, no, this is where it fits, this is perfect. I haven't even played this map much. The main reason I like it is because of the immediate division system, where you have to get to the other side of the map just to meet up with the other half of your team. Dead of the Night did something similar, but it was only for like 2 rooms. Barucht went all in with the concept, and I think that's why I hold this map so dearly. Honestly, I just love that concept that fucking much. Number 7. I want to say, this map is one I have a lot of fond memories of. It may not be the best map. Some people may not even think it's a good map. But this is in order of my personal preference, and I personally prefer it to a lot of maps. Transit. I love the bus and the bus driver. I understand it's not the best way of surviving, but buses go vroom. And that's all that's important to me. I know it doesn't have the best design, and is extremely limited by the console it was placed on, but it still holds a dear place in my heart. Even if getting to Pack-a-Punch blows, the Wonder Weapon is the best thing ever for the 2 seconds you hold it before it explodes, and there's a bunch of fog and fire. But to this day, I still think the individual areas only play well when all wrapped together in Transit. Town included, I don't like Town all that much. I haven't completed the Easter eggs yet, but soon my friends and I will be tortured by it. Number 6. Mauertoten. The only Cold War map that I truly hold as one of the good Zombies map experiences in that game. It did what Dire Eyes failed to do and did a vertical-based map semi-well. Who knew all it needed was also some fine horizontal parts to tie it together well. Crazy. It has a great Wonder Weapon with shifting abilities, and just, it's the best Wonder Weapon from Cold War, hands down. This is the most put together and well-executed Zombies experience from Black Ops Cold War, and it wasn't even close. Number 5, 9. 9 is a classic. It is one of the few maps that took Black Ops 4's mechanics and played heavily to its strengths, as opposed to just being a map in the game, like most of the maps in the game. It works so well in tandem with Black Ops 4, I don't think it'd fit nearly as well on any other map. Meanwhile, it is held back because it is on Black Ops 4. Just from the way 9 is showcased is awesome. Circled in the middle, branches into 4 corners, each with upper layers and lower layers, and the lower layer connects to a dual circular underground, the temple being the inner, with a simple ruins surrounding being the outer circle. It is the most simply designed map in Black Ops 4, and that's one of the many reasons it is the best out of them. Even if I joke around with friends about playing Black Ops 4, I will still legitimately boot up the game just to play a few rounds of 9. It is the best Black Ops 4 map and the best Chaos Story map. Pause down. Perfect. That's why 9 is my number 5. Instead of... Number 4. 5. No, you're not watching one of those numbered tier list videos. It almost fit perfectly, but I just couldn't see myself putting it one slot lower just for a joke. I'm lumping Classified into this because it's very similar and puts in very little, which is about the same amount that it takes out. 5 is simply put the best Black Ops 1 map out of the ones I have played. The design is simple yet challenging, the map is relatively small, yet feels massive thanks in part to the multiple elevator-separated areas and the intricate teleportation system. 5 was the hard map upon launch of Black Ops 1, far differing the easier Kino, and if I had to choose between booting up 5 and booting up Kino, I'm going 5 all day long. It's not only a challenge, but a fun one at that, and one I could see myself going out of my way to play whenever I have the mood to. That's why 5 is my number 4. Number 3, Origins. Origins hard. Origins insane. Origins fun. Origins was the return of the main 4 characters, but in new form as their younger premise forms. It was the start of a new direction of COD zombies that would be seen primarily in Black Ops 3, and my goodness, it was amazing. It's unfortunate that come Black Ops 3 time, I was in a really unfortunate position in my life and was unable to experience the fun because of it, but still, Origins was insanely good. The 4 wonder weapons introduced for the first time, elemental style, guaranteeing everyone got at least one. Great! The Easter egg was difficult, but fun, as it followed the steps of a classic Black Ops 1 story mission. I've attempted the Easter egg a few times, but was unable to beat it. Origins is one of the best maps I ever experienced. Truly feeling like an epic tale. That's why Origins is my number 3. Number 2. Let me just take a sec to point out the difference between my number 2 and my number 1 is astronomically close. Like it really could be either or, practically a toss-up between these two titans of maps. Number 3 was pretty close, but it was always going to take one step behind these two. But these final 2 are so good that I just need to point out the difference is legitimately, by personal preference, the day of writing this script. If I could do a 2-way number 1 tie, I would, but I feel like it would almost be a disservice to the video to do that. This is a ranking after all, so rank I will do. So with that being said, Mob of the Dead. 4 mobsters trapped in hell in a vicious cycle, doomed to repeat itself as they die ever so consistently, doomed to repeat the same mistakes that keep those cycle going round and round unless the cycle could somehow be broken. Mob of the Dead takes place in Alcatraz, the perfect place for zombies, almost impossible to get wrong. From boot up to game over, Mob of the Dead is a thrilling, fun, and semi-challenging experience made simple by a fun one-off afterlife mode that was primarily used for turning on power and perks, and making the map a bit easier, but you didn't hear that from me. Not to mention, just like its future brain tumor, Mob of the Dead was also a cinematic experience, just not as big as Blood of the Dead took it. Gather the parts, craft at the plane, and take yourself to the Golden Gate Bridge to pack a punch. If you didn't throw your Hell's Retriever while riding the plane, who the hell are you? I may not have done the Easter egg, but I certainly tried and got pretty close, just like with Origins. Mob of the Dead is easily one of my 2 favorite zombies maps ever, and on a different day, it's absolutely my single favorite. But today, it's just barely edged out by number 1. Buried. I mean, hey, I did say I was a co-op focused zombies player, and Buried is simply the co-op map, designed specifically with co-op in mind. Jimmy Zielinski's swan song in Treyarch, and what a swan song to send out. Buried was a bop at every corner, everything just worked. Pack-a-Punch was annoying to get to, and just trying could result in you losing all of the points you just built up, thanks to the ghosts, but it still works with the theming of the map. A rundown old western town. This sort of thing screams for having an old-style haunted mansion nearby. The map's layout and design just oozes charisma, passion, and charm. Not to mention, it had some really interesting mechanics that just worked. Chalk wall buys, sick. Grab the chalk, put it wherever you like, and get a nice tip for your troubles. Help the player feel more like they had some sort of impact on the map, which was also helped by the other mechanic, Leroy. Not Arthur, Leroy. Give Leroy some booze, he'll ram down any destroyable walls in the opposite direction. Give him candy, he'll go on a killing spree. Grab the box, lock the box, or hold a crawler. Just a lot of helpful things. Not to mention all of the buildables, while annoying to gather, are insanely helpful and useful for high rounds on this map. You actually use the surrounding environment and craft ways to survive longer. It's not just as simple as turbine open door anymore. Was it a bit on the easier side? Yes, but it can still get overwhelming the higher you go. It has an easier beginning, but the higher you go, the more you realize it has a pretty high difficulty spike in the later rounds. I haven't personally beaten the Easter egg, but I have heard high praise. Can't bring up Buried without bringing up the Super Easter egg. This is where both, yes, both of the Victus crew endings come into play, either following Max's side throughout the trio of maps, or Richtofen's. That's why Buried is my favorite map. So yes, those are my current garbage opinions. I hope you guys don't get mad. I plan on going through and experiencing much more, both alone and with friends, especially with friends for the Easter egg sides of things. I may have always felt like more than just a casual, but I'm going to push to actually become more than just a casual. I'm going to be streaming more often on Twitch. You can come tune in whenever I go live. I may be doing other things sometimes, like Borderlands, but I plan on streaming a lot of zombies here for the coming good bit. Can't guarantee I'll stream the most often. Well, you'll see my fuzzy butt at least twice a week. I also might record the Easter egg attempts alongside the streams, and edit them down for some fun YouTube videos. Thanks for watching.